Hello folks, I'm Dan. Back to working on the airplane project again today. And we're going to work on our flaps, our flap handle today. Kind of finished out my design of it. That's what the prototype will look like. I'm just cutting this out of 25 thousandths today because it's going to change as time goes on. It'll probably end up being out of 40 thousandths. Is probably the thickness of the two halves. But this is just kind of a proof of concept thing. Today I'm cutting out this basic form, and I want to make sure we've got enough throw on it and just give me time to make adjustments to it. And I'm going to work on the handle a little bit. I've got a spring and some steel tubing. Part of this will get changed to aluminum tubing in the final product to save a little bit of weight. But anyway, that's where we're at today. I've got a couple of pieces of 16 thousandths here that I've already marked out so that I can cut them out to use for blanks for this. So I'm just going to cut them on the Beverly shear. And that gives me blanks to use. That one will fit on there like that. That one will fit on there like that. I'm just going to go ahead and drill 2 holes in there and pin them together, and then I'll mark the outside and the insides, and we'll drill some holes. See what we can come up with here. Here, I'll just draw our outline on this. There again, it's just a rough outline. We just want to find out what our clearances are and how well it fits up. When I do the final rendition of this, I may make the floor brackets and the seat front brackets integral with this rather than doing 2 or 3 different pieces. Zenith's layout for this flap handle is probably the best one out there and probably really can't be improved on. Other than as a scratch builder, I can add my floor supports and the rivet points right into the brackets themselves rather than having them rivet in. Okay, that's about how it'll lay out. Now it's just going to be connect the dots. I think I will probably open these all up to 1/4 inch. We want to leave that as a 3/16 pivot point. I think the detent that locks, or the pin that locks into the detent, will be a 1/4 inch roll pin is what I think I'm going to use there. Let's see, I think we'll go ahead and drill those holes there. I'm going to go ahead and cut the outside, but this will, I'll have to draw the proper arc for these. It'll lay out just about like that. So let me go ahead and trim these off a little bit. I'm going to like having that shear. couple options when we do the final cut on this. I can either set it up and CNC it, or else I can just make a little template and route it, which is probably what I'll do. Well, it's time to take that over and use a Dremel on it. All right, what I've done is I've taken my two pieces. They were sandwiched together. I went ahead and Dremeled them out so they're smoothed up the edges. I've checked where the flap handle will set in the airplane, and it looks to be about right. So what I've done is I've made a quick little fixture here. So if we were looking at the inside the plane, this would be the seat front, this would be your floor. Well, or this would be your floor here, basically. So your flap handle will sit in here. Your mounts will be there like that. And what I'm going to do is just clamp these in position to about where they want to go. Just to give us some idea. That looks about right. And that's how it'll mount in the airplane. Flap handle will set in here. And this will run back to our flap arms. This will be whatever length it needs to be. There again, just a prototype. I'm going to go ahead and drill this to match. And that will be our pivot point there. And I believe I'm probably going to put a bushing in there. I know I'm going to put a bushing in there inside to match that, and then I'll slot this so when the handle sits down inside, this roll pin will actually protrude through there like that. So when you push down on the cap, it'll be pushed down against the spring. To release it, you can move it to whatever position, and the spring tension will push it back up into whatever slot you aligned it with. So the next thing I'm going to do is take it into the milling machine. I will drill this hole and set it up for a bushing, and I will slot this 1/4 inch for the roll pin to move freely in, and then this will be our flap handle. I'll go ahead and drill it for that 1/4 inch roll pin to retain that 1/4 inch roll pin, and it'll go through there, and that way it'll push down against spring tension. And this spring's too long. It'll be about half this spring length, but it will come down and rest against the pivot pin or the pivot bushing that comes in there, and then the other end of it, which will shorten it up, will sit against the bottom of that to provide upward pressure. And that should give us enough spring tension and travel if I've thought it out right. There again, these are just prototypes. I'm going to change these around. But anyway, let's try it and see what happens. All right, folks. Well, that's pretty much where we're going to leave this video for now. We'll finish up part 2 here. In part 3, we'll go ahead and finish building the prototype for the handle. And here's a little teaser for part 3. You know, we've got it to where it does, I think, what it's supposed to do. If you enjoy these videos and find them helpful, please hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and share them and give me a thumbs up if you would. If you've got any comments, anything I can do to improve these, please go ahead and leave them in the comments section below. Thanks for taking the time to watch.